turn. Where's the little cars? There are. There's some. Two plus two is 4. I got it! 4! I'm reading some books here. I'm going to class. I'm going to go class. Me. Wait! What do you mean? Yeah. Look, I can. I wonder what this does. Oh, I see you. Look, technology. Oh my God! Look at us. Nerds on Earth. Yay! Stupid are you? This is a computer. What's a computer? You're seriously not a nerd then, because you're thick in the head. I'm mostly a nerd.
Some nerds can be fake, you know. God, I just love these glasses.
Well, I'm reading about this. But what does it say? Money! Money! That's the only word I understand.
Money, and clothes, the shopping, the shoes.
Oh, look at these shoes. Look at these. The shoes. Shoes.
We nerds.
Nerds. N-E-R. What comes after R? D. D. Oh, the R doesn't come D. Oh, just shut me with the book. This is I want to read this one. You can read this one. What's it?
Young people answer that words.
Okay, let's just read that. How can I talk to dad or mom about sex? Oh my God! Look.
There's the answer, guys.
Yes?
I guess that's us. Oh my God.